On September 20th, 1932, high above 41st Street in Manhattan, 11 ironworkers took part in a daring publicity stunt. For over 80 years, the 11 ironworkers in the iconic photograph have remained unknown. It's an image that could never be photographed today. This is the true story of Victor's connection to an iconic photograph that inspires him to create a truly unique art installation. The plan is to change the look of Bickell's hardware. There hasn't been a sign on the business for over 100 years, and the front door is still locked to this day. The time frame for Victor's complex idea, Bickell's 100-year anniversary celebration on August 24, 2019, is going to be tight. He's even planning on shutting down Main Street, Niagara Falls, to reveal his ideas. One great thing about filmmaking is everyone has a different life story. Things happen rapidly for some and move slowly for others. Our lives are ruled by forces of chance and coincidences. Sometimes the slightest thing changes the direction of our lives.
I'm gonna tell you a story. When I was a small kid, I loved tools. I went crazy for tools. I didn't play with toys. I played with screwdrivers, hammers, drills, anything I had in my hand with tools. Toolboxes, I used to organize my dad's toolbox all the time.
A chance call from Victor's cousin to tell him about a temp summer job at Bickell's Hardware changed everything for Victor.
I've been there working Bickell's. I started there as a summer job about 28 years ago, 30 years ago, roughly in that, 1988. First week, I said to myself, I want to own this place one day. Took, 25 years, but I never gave up hope. It was always my dream to own it. If it wasn't for this buying group, I probably went to Buffalo that one day when I was thinking about something and I wanted something different because everybody had a hard time finding Bickell's. And because we have never had a sign in front in 100 years, and the front door was always locked. So as our limo guy was taking us to the Buffalo airport, we drive by Salvador's restaurant, I think, and I see these guys on the beam. I look outside and I said, that's what I want.
When Victor returns to work, he can't seem to let go of his idea and spent a quiet early morning searching for the artist that had created the sculpture.
Looking for images, so guys on the beam having lunch. And sure enough, this picture of 1932 Rockefeller, that the guy's having lunch on the beam. I said, that's exactly what I want. Well, sure enough, I'm looking more detail. I'm like, but who built that? Someone built that for him. So I'm still looking, and sure enough, I see a silver color statue that looked like the guys on the beam. I click on it, and I click on this guy's name, Sergio Furnari.
From what I was gathering in bits of English and Italian, Sergio's story is interesting. Sergio is originally from Sicily. He immigrated to New York City at the age of 20. As he walks up Fifth Avenue to Central Park, he sees the iconic photograph in a shop window.
Here I am in New York City, 1991. I see this photograph, and literally in one instant of a second, I'm in love. Like I couldn't keep my eyes off the photograph.
After several conversations on the phone, Victor and Sergio decided to meet in person for the first time in Niagara Falls.
So I have 11 men on top of a beat-up truck. I gotta go through the border, and on top of it, I have an Italian passport that's been washed up a few times, and they were literally stunned.
I imagine it wasn't every day that Canadian border security comes across a character like Sergio.
I think they let us go because they knew that we didn't have any bad intention You know, they usually let me go in any type of situations because those 11 men are the American dream. So when you sculpt them, basically, it's in a way you're sculpting their soul. So when you sculpt, you know, another person that is not alive anymore, I don't know, there is like a very, very strong and spiritual connection.
Project is gonna need a lot of work in the next few months. So when Sergio said that he's coming up here, it wasn't a surprise. It was like, all right, the time has come. We're going to Niagara Falls. We're going to make this thing happen.
It's lots of intense work, and we usually don't count the hours because the hours become days, then they become weeks, then they become years, and then they become decades. This will be the largest stainless steel piece that I ever done.
I'm looking at the drawings, I'm thinking, this is missing something. How about I get more guys? Look like they're working on the beam while the guys are having a lunch on the beam, have a fake crane, look like they're bringing some steel up, like a little world of construction going on. And I said, that's what I want to do.
The plan expands out of control, and now Victor's going to require additional help with the cranes. He reaches out to his old friend Derek Costello. Derek is a modern-day MacGyver. He's going to be helping him with the construction of the cranes. As a young man, Derek worked at the hardware store and was a close friend of Mr. Bickle.
Ah, Mr. Bickle, yeah, good old H.W. Bickle. He was a great guy. He was a mentor, like not just to me, but to, I would say, hundreds of people in Niagara Falls. He wasn't just an employer, he was a teacher. He liked the way Victor reacted to customers, the way Victor reacted to the business. His knowledge of the business was pretty well as good as what Henry's was. The fact that he'd been there for a long time, stuck with it, and wanted to be there. So, yeah, Henry had a sense for people, so he definitely sensed that in Victor. And there's nobody he could have left the business to, sold the business to, better than Victor. Wouldn't have been a better choice there anyway.
Well, remember, lost wax, right? After they make the mold, the ceramic thing where they pour the stainless steel, it's lost wax, so the wax just kind of melts out. Now, when you got resin and it's glue, right? Who knows what? And he's got clothing in there, and he's got glue in there. That's why he's chipping away as much as he can. That's why in the boots, he took the soles away, he took everything out, he took all the metal out, because they can't burn that, right?
Canadian foundries that I've been dealing with or been talking to, and Serge as well, they insist they are a lost wax foundry, so they want the wax. They don't want anything that you've done unless it's wax.
Sergio's lost wax process raises some concerns.
I don't know. That's where I'm stumbled, because Derek thinks they're not going to do it. And Sergio thinks, yep, they're going to do it. And Joe, as he called the guy, it's a different technique. So he knows it's a different technique, and he's willing to do it. He did the gloves. They came out nice. I don't see why not.
So basically, we're going to send out a test next week. We just made a box of one complete statue that will go, and they're going to run a test. That means that basically, like in 2, 3, 4 weeks, we will know exactly if the process works or not.
A decision is made to travel the 7,850 kilometers to test Sergio's process. The only solution is Valley Bronze, a foundry in Oregon. They're willing to accept and test Sergio's non-traditional sculpting methods. Valley Bronze opens its doors and allows us an up-close and personal experience to witness the casting process.
This process here, when Sergio's pieces came in, we had them material covered in resin. So then they go into the spruing room, and the girls attach these sprues, which is going to be the avenue for my metal to go into the piece. The piece goes from the spruing room into the slurry room, which takes about 5 to 7 days to do the 6 to 9 coats of slurry on this piece. And then it comes to me, and I have to prep it for the burnout. There's a lot of pressure in this when we put it in there from the wax expanding and turning to molten wax. So what I have to do to prep this is on all these sprues, I drill a hole, and it's a pressure relief. So once we enter it into the burnout furnace, the wax starts expanding and it comes out these little holes. We have a few concerns with Sergio's because normally this is all wax, but with him, he's used a resin and a Levi material and also wax. So we're a little concerned about the expansion rate and what it's going to do when we put it into the fiery furnace.
With the casting process completed, the melting and pouring of the stainless steel begins. This part of the process is not only time-consuming, but dangerous. Working with temperatures exceeding 2,900 degrees Fahrenheit, safety becomes a top priority. Once the steel cools, the removal of the ceramic begins.
Deep inside, I knew it was possible. Then you gotta go against the head of 20 people that will tell you it's impossible. Guess what? When they tell you it's impossible, chances are that it's possible.
I thought that's where I had a big smile on my face because everything came out better than perfect. Because, you know, like I said, this is the first time this foundry did this kind of technique. And Sergio's first time doing this technique as well, so it was just amazing. It was just fantastic what these guys did here. They let us see the whole process, feel the heat, feel everything here. It was just amazing, incredible.
Okay, I definitely have some serious concern about reassembling them. You know, because cutting a piece like this is very easy to cut. To reassemble back together, it's a different ballgame. Especially, the chances are I will have to do it myself. So I gotta start thinking of how to avoid future problems or complications. So it's not going to be an easy test. You know, the more people get involved, the more complicated it gets. So the only people I trust with that right now, it's Valley Bronze. We're going to test in the next couple of hours how we're going to reassemble them together. Because cutting a piece is very easy. Reassembling a piece becomes a different ballgame. Because you cannot bend stainless steel. You cannot shape stainless steel. So I want to avoid all future complications. So the war is not won yet.
No concerns at all. We have a good welder back there at home named Steve Carey. I'm sure he's more than capable of doing this job. He's been doing it for a lot of years, so yeah, I think it's going to come out really well.
After some further testing, a decision is made to bring the pieces back to Niagara to have Victor's friend Steve try to weld them back together. The first stainless steel man arrives in Niagara Falls. It's now early May. With less than 3 months to the unveiling, Sergio is beginning to feel the pressure. The first stainless steel man comes back with some unexpected flaws. Another setback that could cost them valuable time. Now, Sergio is trying to figure out what went wrong with the casting after he left the foundry, and why there are so many holes in the steel.
Probably what happened was, I would say, like some kind of a mistake. I mean, again, a mistake can become, you know, part of the piece of art. Sometimes mistake, it's what makes the art even more beautiful. It's an effect. At this point, a defect became an effect. And I mean, we still got the major shape of the pants. I mean, literally, you could see right here, like the beauty of the real clothes. It became stainless. The next phase, okay, it's going to be to re-weld them together. The fact that there is some cuts, okay, some small cuts, it all comes down to a good welder. But I heard good things about Steve. So Steve, I'm very confident you're going to make some magic out of this. No doubt in my mind. You know, the next step would be to have all the pieces in Oregon. I wish I will have them already all casted like this. I took the chance to make just one, and now I gotta rush. I mean, they do this all day long.
Well, then they should maybe be the ones doing it.
There we go. The bottom line, look. Let's be realistic. You know, I've been around the world, okay? You gotta already see, if you want to touch them up later on, you could. But this, to me, feels like a headache.
It is a headache. It's a disaster.
I mean, no, it's not a disaster. It's normal routine. Let's call it normal routine. No, it's very easy to put it
So
together.
let's ship this back.
Yeah,
make them
you
do
gotta put it together. I gotta go take the phone.
After some further discussions, a decision is made to have Steve weld the first man.
Already all mounted.
Steve's a close friend of Victor and a master welder. Victor has total confidence that Steve's up to the task, unlike Sergio, who seems to have some doubts as to whether or not Steve can actually do it. After some unexpected challenges, Steve successfully welds together the first stainless steel man.
I knew that Steve could put it together. I had no doubt in my mind. You know, that's why I always kind of felt comfortable. And then it came true. It was better, much better than whatever I expected. E alla fine, con l'arte, la musica, le pitture, le sculture, cioè se io ho pensato, se questi qua mi toccano l'anima così e me la toccano a me, sono sicuro che gliela toccheranno pure a altra gente.
The installation of the Men of Steel begins. After almost a year in the making of this film, and with the many unexpected twists and turns, we finally arrived at the day of the installation. But the final challenge is yet to come. With just 2 days to the unveiling, the pressure is on to ensure that the installation of the Men of Steel goes as planned. Who were these men sitting casually on a narrow steel girder, eating lunch? With their feet dangling 850 feet above the streets of New York City? They are the unsung heroes of construction. The unknown ironworkers, men with nerves of steel. They came from different places and different walks of life, but shared one common goal: to construct a better America for the many generations that would follow, to build what would one day be referred to as the American dream.
You know, already we got a situation.
I got no situation. I got no situation. No, you got
You got a Ci avete rotto la minchia, tutti qua in Canada. When I first saw the stainless steel, you know, when I saw the eternity in front of me. Minchia, ma perché non ti piace? When I first saw liquid becoming eternity, you know, it's something that sticks with you forever. You know, what's eternity again? We don't know. Ready to get things rolling. Hai capito? Che già mi state rompendo i coglioni. Anzi no, me l'avete già rotti i coglioni.
¿Quieres que te hable en español y te digo que necesitamos tiempo y hombres para trabajar con esto, carajo?
Hombres, no hay hombres aquí para trabajar con eso.
Very good pop, man. Fantastic. Okay, I feel great about Oregon because it's got like a very fairy tale sensation. This is like from now on, before it was cold. Okay, now it's going to get hot. So it's going to be like transporting chocolate. I don't want to bring them over there to Oregon. Chocolate. Oh.